Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Walking 90. I'm your host, as always, Yogi Bart. Is joining me is three of the coolest people in USL League One soccer land that realized over this past, what the hell is that?
Ironically, it's not me playing the bagpipes. That's a very on-brand thing for me coming out of my phone.
Oh, the kids were watching a movie in the background.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was literally at a concert Tuesday night where a guy was playing Cow Shin Bones, so I suppose a bagpipe is really not out that far out of my.
I mean,
that
was
is very
on
true,
brand for it to
Gio.
be WrestleMania weekend, so that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. Guys, let me get back to it. Let me start over again. Welcome to Walking 90, the show that gives you all the insight to all the vibes and chaos of USL League One and the sheer utterness, funniness of everything. Joining me on the show this weekend is someone that has a trombone literally playing in the background with her. It's Eb. How are you doing, ma'am?
It was Jumanji and good.
Okay, new Jumanji or old Jumanji?
I was just about to ask that.
I think it's the new one with The Rock.
Oh,
You need to punch them kids in the face.
look, if you're gonna play that one, then it's valid.
Yeah. All right. Also joining me is a guy that is going to be operating the camera for this upcoming U.S. Open Cup game. Mr. Kyle Carr, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. The kids are home because daycare is closed for spring break, and I'm getting by.
I can see the pain in your face.
It's been a week.
I believe it. And last but not least is a guy that had to put the baby to sleep, but hopefully you and your Omaha can stay awake this week. Is Mr. Chip. How are you doing, sir?
Really great. No one should have told me that there is a giant golden phallus sitting in the middle of downtown Knoxville because I'm just making a lot of sophomore dick jokes on Twitter this week.
Excuse me?
So it's called the Sun Sphere. It's like it was for the World's Fair in 1982.
I'm going in incognito mode to look at this up because I don't.
So I've been on the UA local Discord all day because there's a lot of photos of it. So there's a really, I'll make the joke from the. There's a lot of low angle shots of it, so it looks bigger. And my wife's like, "It's not as tall as you think it is. That's just a really good angle."
Oh, so it was just soft. Hasn't fully awoken yet. Okay.
No, yeah. There's a lot of immature jokes you can make out of this thing. There's a lot of immature
Perfect
jokes.
Perfect podcast.
Great start. But no, it's good. I am also glad that my daycare doesn't have spring break. They are taking 2 days off for Easter, and I'm already like, that's a lot of time off. But we're gonna go and have a little vacation instead. So that should be fun. Was gonna try to go to a Colorado Switchback game, but it's like $30 to get in the door, which is absolutely crazy. But I'm used to those League One prices, I guess.
I was like $30. That's fine. That's all right.
Well, it's more of convincing Kristen to go, and for $30, it's kind of like, I don't like it. They're playing Pittsburgh. So it's like I don't like either of these teams, and Omaha plays at 8 or 7 local time, so it's like the same time. So it's like, I'll just sit at the bar at the hotel and watch the game, I think.
Yeah, there you go. That's not bad. It's not a bad call. No. Well, guys, I say, before we head into it, Kyle, I'll let you break it. I'll just put it up on the screen and let you take it from here.
Yeah, so unfortunately, there is a member of the Madison soccer community who senselessly got murdered while he was at work. Long story short, someone was very upset and decided to resort to violence that was absolutely unnecessary. It's just a bummer because he was always at the bars. He was a Chelsea fan, but he was someone that would always just stay and talk to. He loved soccer. He loved talking about soccer. He loved being around soccer. So he was at a couple foreign Madison matches. Just a really good guy, and it's just upsetting that he has a wife and a kid on the way, and now that this tragedy has happened. And then, like I said, it's just because a customer came in and was senselessly a shit cunt, basically. So yeah, there's a GoFundMe. I know there's been over $10,000 raised, which is huge and greatly appreciated. But yeah, it's just, again, the senselessness of the violence and, being killed at work just because someone didn't get what they wanted. It's always just like really tough. So
yeah, it definitely is very tough. It's definitely everything that's going on, and definitely for those out in Nashville, our heart goes out to y'all because it affects me because I'm a teacher and it sucks. And we should not have people that are more comfortable with guns than they are with the life of a human, regardless of what they think or how they feel, or and also a lot of the discourse around the trans or the LGBTQ plus community is very nasty, and some of the coverage around that has been very disparaging as well. So for all those that feel as if no one's caring about you or no one wants the best for you, just know that us here at Walking 90, we're wishing the best for you. We're hoping for the best for you, and if you need help, please go seek that help. It's not worth 10 minutes of making a poor decision can change the life of you and everyone else. So, just take time to think before you react. Moving on along, I don't really know how to transition from that, but
there's not really a good way of doing that. So.
Yeah, there's really no easy way of doing that one.
It's not.
Heavy transition.
Right.
Trump got indicted. That's hilarious. There
you go. All right.
What if Paltrow won $1 in court?
Oh, while we're on the semi heavy subject, also on the whole trans community and all that stuff, check out Proud Owls. It's a LGBTQIA plus supporters group in Omaha who are tweeting a lot of stuff about what's going on in the Unicam right now about some of the bills that are being passed. I know Nebraska's not the only spot where stuff like that's happening, but they're doing some good work covering it, especially with how weird the Nebraska judicial or with the Nebraska legislative system is. They're doing a good job covering it and letting people know kind of what's happening. And, it's a shame that we have to go through all this in the year of 2023.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to them, man. I've been following them and I'm really proud of the work that they do. Proud House at the government because government sucks. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about these games, guys. Second week of USL League One action. We've had some exciting moments. We had some teams that do well. First of all, let's start off with the game that probably, I think, all through us for a little loop-de-loop. Charlotte Independence are running high in the Carolinas to get a 3-1 win over Tormenta. We have a couple of questions about Tormenta. Is Pablo Harder the guy? Should TJ Bush be starting? Where is Keziah Sterling? Guys, I'll open the floor so we can talk about this a little bit. Is this more indicative of how good Charlotte is, or is it just a blip because Tormenta is not putting the right pieces out there yet?
Why not both?
Yeah.
I like that answer.
If I have to lean more towards one or the other, I would say it's more Charlotte had a very good plan going into that match. And granted, everything that could have gone wrong for Tormenta did, but I think, especially in the second half, Charlotte was just a lot more and defensively handled what was thrown at them pretty well for the majority of the match. I think there was only like a small stretch in the second half where Charlotte kind of looked like maybe they're going to concede a goal, and then they immediately countered and got that next goal. So I would say it's more Charlotte. And I mean, Tormenta, Yara made a bad mistake on the second goal. Could argue could have done better on the other two. They get a red card because their defender gets a stupid second yellow card. But I'll say it's more Charlotte was relatively impressive.
Has Charlotte been one of them? I probably put this right, but have they been the most impressive team the first 2 weeks? Granted, there's only been a small sample size and not every team has played a game yet, but have they been the most impressive team? I kind of feel like they have been. Just, the showing they put up against Richmond in 0-0 draw that second half, and then really this game against Tormenta, how they kind of quickly put them to the sword.
They haven't allowed a goal from open play all season, which if you had told me that 2 weeks ago, I would not have believed you.
Oh, it's been 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, a small sample, very, very small.
But
sample.
they played Richmond and Tormenta, and you're telling me they have not allowed a goal in open play. I would have been like,
Yeah.
nah.
I think really the only game that you could look at the calendar and really say has a better case is you could say South Georgia over North Carolina, because we all think North Carolina is going to be a lot better than people thought. We all thought South Georgia was going to be pretty good. We could look at Richmond kickers, Greenville 1-0, but even then, like that's a good score line. But 3-1 over the defending champs, especially when you were the wooden spoon last year, like in a vacuum, that's definitely the one that like jumps off the page. I think that's the one where if you didn't pay attention this offseason and you saw that score line, you're like, whoa, what happened there?
On the road, especially.
On the road, yes.
Now,
That's definitely the one that's...
Now, on the flip side, if you're a Tormenta fan, are you kind of questioning Cameron right now? Be like, all right, why is TJ Bush on the bench? Where's Keziah Sterling?
Well, we have the Keziah Sterling answer. For anyone that saw, we put out the info. Keziah Sterling had a knock and was going to be out a couple weeks. So probably would expect him, I'd say, mid-April.
Yeah.
But yes, I think they should go with Bush. I mean, Ian Cameron was saying, like, ER had a good preseason, and it's going to be, like, they both will get chances, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bush gets that chance in the next game.
I'm going to go on a limb as somebody that's picked him twice to be one of the standout goalkeepers. Just sit that man. Sit him. It's okay. It's okay. Sit him. And play Bush. Bush led you to a title. Yara's not doing that. Sit that man.
So is this like an identity crisis or just like a fluke game where they lose to Charlotte?
I got to see more. Grant, like we said before,
I'm still saying fluke. You lost Dengler early. You lost. You go down to 10 because of a stupid second yellow card. Yara botches the second goal. Like,
yeah,
I'd say it's fluky.
Now, if you're Charlotte, enjoy this.
No, you take those 3 points and go.
You take those 3 points with pride. If you're Tormenta, you're like, all right, we had this.
Well, and I think right now too, it's like if this happened in October, yeah, like that's probably not optimal. But this is not even April. Stuff happens. People are trying to figure each other out. Like we don't really know who's really good, who's really bad. I mean, Omaha drew to Tormenta on the road last year, and you would have thought the world ended, and then they ended up winning the championship. Like we don't even know who's good yet. We don't even know who's bad yet. Like Omaha drew to Madison is still number 1 in the power rankings. Like
we're not talking about the power rankings, Chip, because the power rankings are dumb.
The gaslighting.
I think they exist solely to piss Kyle off.
I think that's why. Like them and the refs, I'm making a goal this year to not get worked up over those two things.
I think Omaha's gonna be one all year, so they don't have Omaha fans in their mentions on the power rankings every week.
Oh, it's going to happen. The moment y'all drop the 2.
Omaha will be 12th in the standings. They'll be number 1 in the power rankings. People like, what's going on? And the league's just like, we just don't want that smoke, guys. We don't want that. They're number 1. Why not? Give them a trophy. We don't care.
Yo, I really wondered, like, did they just hand off the power rankings to the intern that comes in and be like, yeah, just rank any team based on how you like their logo. And just put them there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. The power rankings are wonky, but I mean, again, like I don't think anybody needs to. If you're Charlotte, it's a nice victory because it's your way of saying we're a lot better than a lot of people thought we were. If you're Tormenta, there's a lot of ways to kind of like hand wave it away and just be like, we're missing some of our best guys. We had a really bad injury to one of our starting center backs. We got an early red card. It is what it is, and I think there's a lot of games left to be played, I guess is how we'll say it, right?
Yeah, true. Very much true. All right. So another team that got a very nice victory by Richmond kicker, sneak past Greenville with the Colton Balmer. Why am I messing up his name every time? Colton Balmer banger in the 13th minute.
Y'all snuck away with that one.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I just want to put it out there, folks. These white jerseys with the 7 numbers aren't going nowhere. Stop bitching about it, okay? They ain't going nowhere. I know Greenville just dropped a white jersey. It looks like a lunar kid, look like Swiss cheese, whatever. I don't really care. Richmond's white jersey ain't going nowhere. All right, they're not. So stop bringing it up. Let's move past that point. The white jerseys we have were simply designed to blend in with Greenville's football lines, and it worked. It worked. It did its job. All right. If you're Greenville, how do you decipher this 1-0 loss to your arch quote unquote nemesis to the north? God, that's not even a Civil War reference.
Is that what we're calling it?
You're on the same side for that one, Yogi. You're a history teacher. You know
I
that.
know, but it got progressively worse as you got more southern. Like it got
the capital. You're literally the capital.
Worse. Like South Carolina and Virginia was really battling about who could be more racist in the late, 1800s. It was a weird war.
You're the capital.
Is it the same as U.S. men's national team fans say they're not as racist as English fans?
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this right now.
Oh God! All right. That's true. That's true.
I don't know. Okay. Let me. Greenville took 14 shots, and only 2 were on target. 5 of them were outside the box. 9 of them were inside the box. It just, I don't know what to take from Greenville because it just felt like as the game progressed, they're trying more and more just to create something. I think if anything, Richmond being able to stay compact defensively and not allow as many clear-cut chances is a encouraging thing to see. But I don't know. If you're Greenville, I wouldn't. It just wasn't your day. Like, I don't know. Like they definitely could be better. It was interesting seeing the starting lineup. Like I expected Labovitz to start, and he did, and he came off the bench at halftime. But
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I was like, "What happened?" Oh, okay, now I see.
Just because people like him so much, you should find one of those dumb old like whiskey bottles they used to sell in like the 1950s, which is like way later than they should have sold them, where they're like the decorative clay guy and like the little Civil War outfit, just painted different colors and put like a little feathered bow and some stunner shades on his face.
No, leave it up to the league. They'll figure it out.
Oh, that's true. The league will pick it.
The league is not endorsing a Civil War derby.
It's not even historically accurate. It's not like the Revolution's still in the league or something.
They are not endorsing that. A whole derby based on racism in the Confederate. No.
I would hope not.
All right.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, is it's not a secret on how to beat John Hark's teams. You get up early and then you pack the box and say you can score again. And they kind of had problems with that. Richmond got up early in the 12th minute, and then that was God damn it.
See, this is why we can't have 90% of the league in the Southeast, okay? This is why we need to expand. We need some teams up north. We need some teams out west.
All right, come on. We got to stay on track. We got a long episode.
Again, we know how to beat John Hark's teams. The problem is always like, can you get up early? If you get up early, it messes them up. It takes them out of their game, and that's what Richmond did. They got up early, and they said, "Okay, score." And Labovitz is on the bench. They
force
score. You guys up front.
Y'all have a good night.
Also, okay, I'll take it from there. The other thing about this game that was really interesting was that we had no Akira. Will Palmquist was starting in this, and he did a fantastic job. Kept the clean sheet in his first full 90 debut. I was making a point on River City 93 that pretty much right now Richmond is relying on their defense, but they're waiting for the attack to gel and get better fluidity. And that's fine. I think Richmond and Darren are cool with having the defense being the star of this team. If you are Greenville, I think there could be a little frustration just because you weren't able to take advantage of the new goalkeeper coming in, but it shouldn't be no more than that. You shouldn't be overly frustrated. I think Greenville will be fine. I do have slight concerns that you are starting a 33-year-old striker and thinking that solves your striker issues, but that's a different issue for a different day. Also,
shoot your shot, fam.
Devin Boyce. I don't know if he needs more. Oh God, not the Carolina. I don't know if he needs more game time, but he did not look sharp in game one.
He's also coming off a pretty big injury too. New system.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last year.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I mean, he was a real big impact player in League One. Granted, that was in a kind of a different system and everything up. And a different system and everything else. I think, though, he's going to provide a lot of attacking creativity for them, a lot of pressing. I think he'll ultimately. It wouldn't shock me if he was all League One guy again this year.
Yeah. This segment alone is the reason why ESPN would never pick us up.
Yep.
This segment alone.
This is just add it to the list of reasons.
Just add it to the list. Oh, real quick, thoughts on Greenville Stadium. I know there were some real positives about how they put everything together really quickly. Your guys' thoughts on it?
Good camera angle, so very appreciative of that. I mean, it's a football stadium. Like, they have to make do with it. Hopefully they get their own soccer-specific stadium, and they're not in a football stadium with football lines long-term. But it looked good. Like, having that camera angle, I'm a big fan of having a camera angle like that because you can see more of what's going on.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, Tyler, I was the same. Tyler, I was the same. He said, get up early. And I was like, what, 6 a.m.? That's on me. That's on
early
me.
to
I'm
bed,
sorry.
early to rise makes man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Like Ryan just said, they did have like a porta potty situation at early college stadium. I think the joke I saw online was they graduated from prep school and now are at private college. So I mean, it is what it is. I think it's not the ideal situation. I think there's pros to it, there's cons to it, and ultimately it sounds like there's a lot of beneficial things happening right now on the whatever their city council, county council, whatever it is, on getting the stadium approved. So I think that's really good. I think them getting into a venue that they can call home long term is be the best for everyone. And this is just some growing pains, and that's lower league soccer, baby.
Yeah, most definitely is. On Sunday we had a 1-1 draw.
Wait. Okay. Never mind. I misread it. Sorry. Go.
Oh.
What happened on Reddit?
Nothing.
On Sunday. Oh, Jesus. On Sunday, we had a 1-1 draw with Union Omaha versus Fort Madison. Cheney got his goal. He was very excited. Rashid Nuhu said he's trying to win goalkeeper of the year again. Thoughts on this game, y'all? What are we taking from this 1-1 draw?
I need heart meds. So for those of you that need a little bit of background on this joke. So this place I went to college, Creighton, was in the Elite Eight. They're a school in Omaha. And so the games were like at the same time. So I'm like cursing at the TV screen and cursing at my tablet at the same time. And the people who are watching the Creighton game are like surprised because like when we scored the goal, Creighton had like a dagger 3 and I just like started yelling fuck really loudly. And so it was just like very confusing, emotional day for me. But I don't know. I think I have some comments. Kyle, you go first, and then I'll kind of give my comments about Omaha because I think Madison had a lot more positives than I think Omaha did.
Yeah, it's weird because Omaha should have. You could argue Omaha should have won the game if Mesa scores that clear-cut chance at near the end of the first half. Omaha goes into halftime up 2-0. Who knows what happens? And then on the other side, Fort Madison could have easily had 4 or 5 goals. So I think Madison walked away and the attack looked more fluid. The attack looked lively. and that was very encouraging. And the defense, once it got to the second half, it seemed as though defensively they were much more solid and were the better team. So it's weird that both teams probably could have pointed to like moments and been like, if this had gone differently, we would have won this game. But I think there was more positives for Madison to take away from it. To go on the road in Omaha is never an easy place to play. So to walk away at the point is good. Arguably could have had 3 points had Nuhu not stood on his head. The attack looking good, which is something that is a rarity in Ford Madison. So I think there was a lot of positives to take away from it. And besides conceding another goddamn set piece goal, not a lot of negatives that you can really look at. So I think overall Madison should be pretty encouraged. In Omaha, I think they can look at the first half and say, okay, whatever the new coach is trying to implement, you can see it and it's going to work and it can pay off. But definitely in the second half, they didn't cope with whatever adjustment Madison made. It looked like they tired out very early in the second half.
Yeah, I think for Omaha, they brought back a lot, but it was mostly from the midfield and the attack, which I think Omaha's strongest unit last year was the defense. So I think for Omaha, the biggest two questions in the offseason was, one, essentially our whole defense left besides Nuhu. We know Nuhu's amazing. And we saw this in this game. If Nuhu hadn't been Nuhu, we definitely would not have won. So I think a lot of the defense, I think, is just gelling. Defense is one of those like weird positions where it's a lot about cohesion and teamwork and things like that. It's not so much about like individual talent. And so as they get a little bit more experience, hopefully that gels. I think the biggest concern is probably on the attacking. You still only scored 1 goal. There was that Meza chance right around halftime. But if you're an Omaha fan, especially bringing in an offensive-minded coach, and it's not like there's no reason to like be up in arms or be alarmed or anything like that. But that's definitely one of those ones where if I'm an Omaha fan, like I have some questions just about everything on the defense and the offensive side of the ball. Our ball movement looked good. Our keeping looked great. Defense looked pretty solid. I mean, we definitely like lost Cheney a couple times, just something that it just happens with experience. And with Madison being a new team too, like maybe you don't have that in your game plan of like, make sure there's always a guy watching him. So if his main mark misses him, someone else is coming back to cover. And, you know, we'll see. I think the big test is going to be this week against Knoxville on the road. We all had Knoxville ranked as a playoff team, I believe. So going to Knoxville, getting some points, probably going to say a lot. And Omaha and Madison are always chippy games. And so who knows? Maybe you played up, maybe you played down. We'll see what happens. But I think if I'm a Madison fan, I'm pretty happy with that game overall. And they look pretty solid. Looks like they have a lot of answers for a lot of the questions that I think they had in the offseason.
I think there's a fair analysis. The last game, my bad.
I got a question for you.
Oh, there you go.
Chip, we were talking about it in the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
You asked, did you learn anything about your team
Mm-hmm.
from this game? It's your first one. What are you hoping to see improved from this first game so that you can hopefully learn a little bit more?
Yeah.
About
so
what
I think
this looks like.
Yeah. So I think the backline being more solid, I think is something that needs to get better. We can only rely on Nuhu so much, and that scorpion kick from Cheney in the last like minute, but that should be it. That's a Nuhu saving the game. And I think that's something where it's their first game together as a unit, and hopefully they learn some stuff to figure some stuff out. I don't know if the back line's necessarily set even, and so kind of figuring out what's going on there. And I think the other thing too is just figuring out that offensive identity, because again, we had 1 goal and we tied. Someone made the joke on Discord that Omaha's in mid-season form already, so it'll be interesting. And I think again, with so many new people on the team and a new coach and a new system and everything else, you really have to figure it out. I think Brandon said it where he said, we won't really know what Omaha is until week 10. And luckily in this league, it's going to be pretty tight. We think it's going to be pretty close. And I think that's, as long as, if you're getting a draw right now, it's a win. Like, you just can't be giving away points because you're going to need to make a push probably at the end of the season to do whatever they want to do. And it's about learning right now. It's about getting together. It's about unit cohesion. And trying not to make any mistakes. They're going to bite you in the ass down the road, I think, for Omaha. And Knoxville should be interesting. And hopefully they win. We'll see. I still don't know what I think they're going to do.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that and see how Union Omaha progress. Definitely with U.S. Open Cup weekend coming up. But the last game of the weekend that we saw happen was NOCO versus Chattanooga, where Parr made his return. If a lot of fans are not aware, Parr made his return from testicular cancer. So he started. I believe he started, right?
Yep, he started.
Started on the weekend and a 0-0 draw for Chattanooga. I didn't watch this game personally, but guys,
I did.
You did, yay!
Why? I mean,
Well, so it was kind of the Greenville Richmond game was. I watched that first, and then I went out for a birthday dinner with my parents and my brother. So I missed the rest of the Greenville Richmond game, but by the time I got back, the Chattanooga NOCO game had started, and also because Tormenta got delayed because of weather. Long story short, both teams probably should have scored. NOCO was dominant in the first 15, 20 minutes, could not walk away with anything, which was surprising. Then Chattanooga was kind of finally able to settle in. Both keepers made some pretty good saves, but each team should have had 2 or 3 goals. Like NOCO should have gotten a goal early. Chattanooga had plenty of chances early in the second half. I was expecting more chaos. It was not chaotic, so I was kind of disappointed. But I don't know. I feel like it didn't really answer any questions because I don't know what Chattanooga did not play as physical, I would say, as they have in the past, which isn't surprising. But basically, Arthur Rogers is not even playing as a wingback. He is a winger. He's just straight up a winger at this point. He's not defending. Like the damn heat map, his damn heat map was basically the attacking third and the corner because he was just whipping corners in left and right all game.
And he'll still win Defender of the Year.
Yes. So that's pretty much the match. I could not take much away from this game besides both teams probably should have scored, but both keepers made some impressive saves.
what a vibeless and chaotic, and there's no real way to say less chaotic. It was just a bleh weekend for our vibes and chaos. I mean, unless you count like those last 6 minutes of Omaha Ford.
I mean, wasn't that the same way as the Civil War? It was just kind of meh after a while.
True. Which one?
Yeah, this is also true. Outside of Gettysburg, nothing else happened. Well, Abe Lincoln might think a little bit different on that. Pivoting real quick. I want to give you a shout out. You did a very nice interview with Flores, who got called up by his Nation team this past week. So real quick, do you want to talk about the interview and have listeners still go listen to it? Because it's amazing. It is really, really good.
Yeah, it was fun. He flew straight to LA and sat down and hopped on the call with me. Really, I mean, love Nelson. One of my favorite humans and soccer players. And he's worked hard to get to the national team. And now you're seeing him become that necessary call in to be like that person off the bench to come and help shut down a game. So he played the whole second half versus USA in Orlando. He put in a solid 45 minutes. It was a pretty good game. If you didn't watch it, USA won 1-0 off of a Pepe goal. Like he subbed in and like his second touch, it was a goal. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He's taking that non-call up to the World Cup personally and just saying, fuck you.
I'm going to steal Gio's joke and say he still hasn't scored against Greenville.
Right. He's just scared of League One. That's all. It's okay. But yeah, it was a really good interview. He let us know all about his favorite spots in El Salvador and just what an honor it is to play for El Salvador whenever they're here. So I can't wait to see him play for Gold Cup later this year. Hopefully he gets the call up, and hopefully he's a part of that progress and that progression towards the 2026 World Cup for El Salvador.
Mm-hmm. All right, that would be awesome and great to see. Snap! I lost my notes for a second. No,
I mean, we also had like a couple other guys get called up. I don't think Alex Anderson played in one of the games for the friendlies, but he did get called up.
I feel like he
St.
did.
Kitts.
Or was that?
I think he played the second one. Second or
Wait,
third.
they didn't have St. Grenadier. They didn't have the Nations League.
They did, but he wasn't in the 18 for the first game.
Okay.
And he was in the second game. I think he played. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. We'll be rooting for him and other players. Hopefully, they get more calls. But it's always cool to see when somebody from this level get calls up, and they are an important contributor to their national team.
And it's huge for the growth of the league.
Tubman. Huh?
I was gonna say it's huge for the league as well, having talents like that come in. It just shows like that this is real football being played. These are real players. These aren't just like some scrubs. These are guys that are playing for their national team. It's guys that are making moves up and down the pyramid, and it's real good stuff. And the more of that we have paired with the youth development, it's just going to be better for the talent level in the league and the development and the talent level on the field we all see.
Yeah, and he really credits John Bradford with like helping him develop and get back into the national team scene. So that's just a huge win for League One and for NCFC too, but for League One, and how many players we've had called up over the last 2 seasons alone is just nothing but a testament to how this league develops players and helps them focus on what they need so that they can move either up to championship, MLS Next Pro, which is a stupid league, but we're going to do it, MLS or overseas, and even their national team. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll definitely be rooting for these guys going forward and wishing them all the best. So, upcoming games we got coming up. Let's start off with One Knox versus Union Omaha. Can One Knox keep up the momentum of their opening win, playing against Union Omaha that's coming off a draw? Guys, real quick, what do we think about this game?
It's going to be interesting to see how Knoxville approaches set pieces, because if there's one thing that they were really dominant on and looked impressive, even though they didn't score besides the penalty against Lexington, they seem like a team that's going to want to get set piece opportunities. And Omaha has historically been very good at attacking set pieces. And they scored their goal last week from a set piece. So that's going to be the main interest for me. And then also, can Omaha's attack try and bother Knoxville's back four? Because that is a good back four that Knoxville have. And I think if Omaha wants to walk away with anything, they're going to need that attack to perform better than they did against Madison.
I mean, for sure, but we've also seen that One Knox can't defend.
And I think that's why. I was going to say, I think that's why it's so important that Omaha shows some life on that end of the ball. Knoxville has a pretty solid defense versus Lexington, a team that we all have rated pretty lowly. They had kind of a meh performance. And so I think for Omaha, this is potentially an opportunity for them to show they have a good offense, especially because it's them, then Fuego. So you have Knoxville, and you have a team that we all have dead last in the league. So this is your opportunity to get some confidence, get some guys some good minutes against some teams that people don't, are kind of on the fence about. And I don't know, it'd be interesting. I think you're going to learn a lot about Omaha going on the road these next 2 games, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. And hopefully it's a good lesson. No matter what happens, though, they'll be number 1 in the power rankings. So that's all that really matters.
This is true. So at the very end, we'll go over how many goals we think are going to be scored over this weekend. So listeners, if you want to join in with that, make sure to drop those suggestions. Your thoughts in the chat. All right, so moving on to the next game. Will Richmond's offense be able to keep up with Charlotte's offense? And can Richmond's defense stifle their attack? Thoughts on this game?
Wait, y'all play Charlotte that close together?
Yes.
That's so stupid.
Welcome to USL League 1.
That's so dumb.
This is the same league that put every team in the ACC, SEC, Carolina Confederate Conference. So,
Hey,
here we are.
No, I yes, they are playing again. I don't know what they're going to pick up from that.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They haven't learned a thing about themselves. They didn't get a chance to do New Year, New Me. None of that.
That sounds like a disappointed parent.
Like they just got a C, and now you trying to get them to an A+. Stop it.
All right, now y'all just said this with Greenville, and we beat them. I'm just saying.
I'm expecting an uneventful. I'm just expecting an uneventful game.
Huh? My fault. What?
Uneventful game. That like they just played each other. They're going to be like, okay, just do what you did last week, and we didn't lose, so just do what you did last week. Hopefully, someone's shot goes in.
I can see it being 1-1. Yeah, like we got saying, like I don't really
I'm not
see.
telling you my score predictions. I'm just going to tell you how many goals for the week.
I don't know what to take from this game. I really don't.
Nothing. You just
It
got
is
two terrible.
Very close to them be playing each other so early.
You just got two terrible games out of the way. That's it. Like.
Just got part of the SEC out of the way early on. All right, so we move on from that game to NCFC. Can NCFC get back on track against Lexington?
They better.
One would hope.
They better.
They better.
And let me ask you this question, and I want you to look into this camera and be truthfully honest with us. If y'all lose to Lexington, how quickly are you pressing this panic button? Oh, you slammed the shit out of that motherfucker.
if we lose to Lexington, I'm hitting it. If we if we tie Lexington, I'm still hitting it. But also, if we can't figure out Lexington, a team that we just saw defense optional, can't defend the counterattack, backline of sure, like I don't know. Then I got some questions I have to ask.
Anyone else thoughts on this game?
You can't start your season with 2 straight home losses. So NCFC needs to get this win.
I agree. All right.
Again, my comment is I think NCFC, if they don't want to be bottom of the barrel again, winning games like this is how you make sure you're not the bottom of the barrel and make sure you're a playoff team. But I think Lexington too, I think they kind of were surprising a bit against Knoxville. And I think, like we said, they could be the biggest surprise just because they signed a bunch of college kids. Those kids traditionally have a lot of high upside, but they also have a lot of downside. And so if Lexington's going to surprise us and not finish towards the bottom of the table, like maybe they're going to win this game and come out. Again, there's a lot of question marks, especially with the new team, new franchise, everything else. And I don't know, it could be a lot more fun than we think.
If Lexington gets time on the ball, they can do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
So North Carolina just have to make sure they have a pressing plan in place.
Okay. So also we have Fuego, who finally kicks off the season against Chattanooga, and Fuego apparently hurt Kyle, and they decided to not only update their roster, they decided to actually sign players and say what players they signed. So guys, I'm asking you, does Fuego get the surprise win against Chattanooga?
No.
Fuck if I know.
Hell no.
Fuck if I know. I don't know this team. I don't know either of these teams.
What's the bus route from Dave & Buster's?
Oh, wait, was that this weekend?
That was this past weekend.
Last week.
Please tell me someone has photos of this.
There is a Dave and Buster's in Chattanooga.
So quick, Dave and Buster's. What's everyone's favorite arcade game?
I don't
Like
know.
not like good ones, like the dumb like Chuck E. Cheese ones.
I haven't been to Dave and Buster's in so long.
I've never been to Dave
Right.
and Buster's. I just assumed that was like some weird thing you saw commercials for, but didn't exist. I like the one where it like went around the light.
I went to Dave and
that's
Buster's
a fun
recently
one.
just because they had a promotional deal on pizza bread.
The fuck is
So
that?
it was like, hey, it was a good deal.
Bread with pizza, I guess. I don't know.
No, it was a good deal. It was like get a medium-sized pizza bread for like $10. And you
Yeah, I legit have not been to Dave and Buster's in like 7 years, and I was in the cities. There is one in Madison. It's not that far from my house.
I mean, Little Caesars does like the $5 hot and ready's, which is a great deal, but I still haven't gone there.
Hey,
Hold on. Don't sleep on Little Caesars.
we will not slander
You can
Little
sleep on them
Caesars.
now. You're grown. You have adult money.
So
We used to go there in college, and it was fine.
look, it was true to his mantra. It was hot and ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
What playlist are you playing, Ebony?
Sounds like an intro to a Metallica song.
Right. Like all I'm imagining is Mario Riviera walking out playing Enter the Sandman.
But to answer Chip's question, any of like the racing simulator ones, games, love those. I don't know what the fuck they expect out of these two teams because Chattanooga did not give me any indication of who the hell they were last week. And Fuego thankfully heard us and updated their website and everything. That didn't do anything for me.
They signed some like Liga Meki's veteran this week too, just like recently.
Okay. They also added like championship defender, which good. They're signing players, so at least I know they have players. But
yeah,
what quality they are does not tell me anything.
It's better than Charlotte last year.
That will still be the most funniest signing day.
That was the Friday news dump of all Friday news dumps.
Like literally the day before the game. Here's our entire roster. We're like, what?
I still think they should have waited for game day and just like announced them on the first game. Just like, whoa, that's our starting center. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
missed opportunity.
Oh man.
I mean, this isn't like a young Liga MX striker either. Like he's been around. He's 33. Like this is the Greenville approach.
Boots. All right. Is that? Oh no, because I have one more game to talk about. How will Tormenta fare against Noco? Does Tormenta get back on track? We talk about a lot of teams getting back on track, almost like the Underground Railroad. Which, proud of you, Harriet. How will Tormenta do against Noco?
I think if Bush starts, they'll be fine. That I'll say that. If Bush starts, they will be okay because I think Tormenta is going to be smart enough and see, hey, that number 14 guy, don't let him whip in crosses. And they're going to look at number 10 and be like, hey, that guy, don't give him a space. Don't give him any space to get a shot off. And Tormenta will be okay. Like, it's very simple. You focus on number 14, you focus on number 10, and if someone else beats you, so be it.
I think they finally just come out and just start shooting, hopefully. And they just put a few in the net so that they can finally like shake off whatever is happening with these first two games. I mean, that first game was obviously against us, and it was a game that looked like it could have counted. It shouldn't have counted, but I don't know. And then that second one, everyone's saying it's a fluke, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. I won't give my opinion on that one yet. I got to see them for like at least 2 more games. So.
Are we talking about Hara?
I've already said if Hara starts, I'd be worried if I was Tormenta. If Bush starts, they'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just talking about the team in general. Like, if Tormenta can get over this slump of whatever was ailing them in that second game,
I don't think
then hopefully they can put
necessarily a slump. Like, I'd be great if this is someone that rated No. I rated Noco highly. So
that's your
I think it's like,
and I didn't.
Yeah. Like if you lose to NoCo, okay, like NoCo's a fat, like they're a good team, they're a decent team. It's different than like losing to like Lexington or like Fuego right now.
But again, just like with North Carolina, you lose 2 straight games at home.
Now, yes, that's true. That's the thing. You can't drop those early points at home because those are where help you like during the dog months of like August and September and whatnot. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. So real quick, who do we have as our vibes and chaos game of the week, y'all? Chip, I'll start with you, Senor.
Chattanooga's Central Valley Fuego's my chaos game because who knows what the hell's going to happen there. Vibes game, let's go North Carolina Lexington because it's been really funny watching Lexington end up winning that game and just like watching the wheels fall off NCFC's season. No offense, Ebony.
So for me, give me Chattanooga Fuego for chaos. And then for vibes, give me Richmond Charlotte. Kyle, what you got?
For vibes, I'll do Knoxville Omaha because that looks like the most appealing matchup. For chaos, yeah, give me Chattanooga Fuego because there's gonna be some dumb shit. North Carolina Lexington could be a very sneaky, chaotic game. But I'm going to go with the 2 teams that I have no idea and I'm not rated highly.
What you got?
I think all of our chaos is the same with Chatta and Fuego. But my vibes was also Richmond and Charlotte because it doesn't have a choice but to be. It's not going to be that interesting.
Okay. All right. So that's that game week out the way. And before we wrap up, we have a whole nother week of games to talk about. The US Open Cup.
Hold on.
What's up?
Before.
Oh yeah. Right.
What's everyone's total goals for the week?
Right. I told you all about
Christ.
All right.
I was the closest last time we did this because there wasn't goals.
The line's at 11.5.
Yeah.
For the record. I'm going to say
put the line at a. So what are you going with?
I'm going under.
What are you going with, 10?
Hold on. Just give me
I just want to pick an over under. But I'm under 7. We'll do 7.
So I took the over at 15.
We have very diverging opinions.
Give me 6.
Wow.
You going 6?
Look at these matchups. Omaha and Knoxville, that could be a very cagey 0-0.
You at least got 2-2-1 games.
For
Listen, Omaha and Knoxville could be a very low scoring game. Richmond, Charlotte, we just saw them go 0-0. Probably going to be a 1-1 at best. North Carolina, Lexington could be a lot of goals. Chattanooga Fuego, again, I don't know who the hell these dudes are. I'm going to give them 0s. NoCo's Tormenta is like that's the one that's going to swing everything. But I'm saying 6. I'm going
for
6.
our mathematically challenged friends. Kyle just picked a 1.2 goals per game, which I think the league as a whole last year was like 2.4. So like,
yeah, but
which in fairness,
that's
like
last year.
Yeah,
look
looking
at
the
so
slate
far.
right. Well, and looking at the slate right now, it's just like, whew.
Ev, you said 15, right?
15. So Kyle and I had the same thoughts, but I thought so we said the same thing, Richmond and Charlotte 1-1. And then Chatta and Fuego is going to be so wild that it's just going to end 1-1 for me. I had NCFC doing pretty well, and then I had a wild 3-2 win for Tormenta. So,
hey, Chip, you said the line's at 11, right?
11.5.
I'll take 12.
I have no faith in these dudes.
Well,
I was so disappointed.
Also, You can't push 11.5 goals. I realized that after I tweeted it.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna say the line that we're not like summing up the overs from Vegas or something. Like we just made that number up. 11.5 is a made up number.
Yeah, I just picked it. I was like, it could be a wild weekend. It could not. But if I put it too low, everyone's just gonna pick over.
If you're betting on League One, you're kind of a sicko. I'm just gonna say that.
I think we're all low key sickos at this point.
That's true.
We're really weird.
Hey, but I don't have any money on the line. That's the big difference.
No.
Yeah.
No, if you're betting on League One, you got questions.
Yeah.
No, I if it is 6, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. That's all I'm gonna say.
No,
if I get this right,
I'll laugh even more if it's 6.5.
You know what? We don't have VAR yet, so we could decide half goals. Yes,
we're not doing that.
If we were deciding half goals, Madison would have won on Sunday.
Exactly. We won last week. 3 points for us.
True.
So yeah, last before we wrap up, because we might not have a show next week. Because this is a bi-weekly show because we have lives. We got US Open Cup matches. We have the official list of games that are coming out. Most games will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. The only games on Tuesday are Ford Madison against Chicago House and Knoxville and Memphis.
There we go. And then Thursday, Richmond versus Cleveland. So I'll go through the full list here. So we got Ford Madison versus Chicago House, One Knox versus Memphis 901, Charlotte Independence versus Appalachian, Loudoun FC versus NCFC, Louisville versus Lexington, Chattanooga versus Birmingham, Tormenta versus Rio Grande Valley, Union Omaha versus El Paso, Switchbacks versus Northern Colorado, Fuego versus Monterey Bay, Phoenix versus Greenville, and Richmond versus Cleveland. First, starting off with guys, who do we have on upset watch? So I'll start off.
Question: which of them is the upset, Loudoun or NCFC?
If you go by league, it will be NCFC beating Loudoun.
I was gonna say, who's gonna tweet cup set if they win?
I will fight.
Lexington
my
100%. Lexington 100% will tweet cup set if they win, and that
100% as they should, as they should.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, this is how we do it. I will say the matchup. You will let me know if it's an upset, yes or no, and you will let me know if the League One team will progress, yes or no. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's an upset for the League One team if they win.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. First up, Ford Madison versus Chicago.
Madison should win.
I have Ford Madison winning. They should win this
game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But the biggest winner of this is Peter Wilt.
Yeah. He still wins the money, so it doesn't matter.
Is this the game where they're selling the 25 ticket for?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Meet and greet for 50. It's like a concert, $15 meet and greet add-on.
Someone asked me, are you going to the pregame chat? I was like, what the fucking pregame chat are you talking about? They're like the one on the ticket package. I was like, didn't even fucking know that.
So here's my question. Does Peter Wilt have a silver sharp and he's signing glossy pictures?
The con man of U.S. soccer.
I will be doing camera work. I will not give a shit.
I just need someone to do like the Simpsons monorail song, but put Peter Wilt's face on the monorail guy. That's what I need.
Oh boy.
All right, so all of us got Ford Madison going through.
Yeah.
All right. One Knox versus Memphis.
No.
I have this game on upset watch.
Okay, so different. Are they actually winning or are we upset watching?
Yeah, it's an upset. It's an upset
if they win, watch.
Yeah. If One Knox wins, they're tweeting cup set.
And it would be a cup set.
Yes.
So I'll take One Knox. I'm taking this one. I have One Knox beating Memphis 9-1.
I like One Knox too in this game.
Yeah.
Memphis hasn't looked super good so far.
I agree with you.
Mostly because
We're
I
kind
want
of
to
split
do
on
my.
this one. I can see because Ebony doesn't. Kyle, you're like.
I'll say Memphis. I feel like Memphis is
Yeah.
going to want to make sure to not get upset, so they will come out guns blazing.
More than anything, I just want Knoxville to win so I can make my stupid Blue Yodel number 9 joke again.
Boo.
All right, next game: Charlotte Independence versus Appalachian. I have Charlotte getting through it. I think they should get through.
Charlotte should win.
Charlotte should win, but knowing how Charlotte does in these
No,
games,
they'll win. They'll be fine. Oh,
that's what you say. But we also said that about Florida Soccer Soldiers.
Someone's going to be
them that next round.
someone's going to be
Hey,
tweeting upset.
hey, think about that.
Yeah.
Charlotte is notorious for bluffing in the U.S. Open Cup because it's the same team that lost the NCFC Fusion last year.
They're not that far. So you got to think Appalachian and Charlotte are not that far from each other, and that yellow Sasquatch is everywhere. They could get shown up in their own home, which isn't a bad thing because it's better for both leagues, honestly.
Well, they're in Boone, right?
Is the game in Boone?
No,
I'm
I'm
saying
saying.
Charlotte.
Well, yes,
I'm saying Appalachia's in Boone, North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say let's do a quick. Boone,
they're really
North
not.
Carolina.
They're not far apart. Like maybe
I'm still
2
taking
hours.
Charlotte at home. If this was on the road, I would have maybe said this was an upset watch, but I'm taking Charlotte.
It's less than 2 hours. So there's going to be a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And Appalachia has one of the best attendances in League Two. So I don't know. I'm going to say.
What else are you doing?
And this isn't even me being a Charlotte hater. This is just past games shows that they don't do well against lower league teams.
Mhm.
When they move on, if they move on, they seem to go on a good little run. But it's Florida Soccer Soldiers, Fusion, like, no.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Appalachian State, whatever the hell they're called.
Appalachian, just that, no state.
Sasquatch SC. There you go.
There you go. I'm still thinking Charlotte.
White Lightning. That's who I'm taking.
That sounds like a moonshine that they're drinking up there.
Well, do you think if I so here's the question. So if we went to one of these games in Appalachia, so like Knoxville, Lexington, what's like the chances of getting offered moonshine in the parking lot before the game?
100%.
So easy.
That's still a thing, right?
Yeah.
The mayor of Mingo County gave us moonshine. Gave like the Ford Madison group that went to Richmond that year. The mayor in West Virginia gave us moonshine. 100%.
So the big question though was that corn liquor or was that moonshine? Because if it gets taxed, it is moonshine.
No. It was moonshine. That shit was moonshine.
No, it was in a fucking jar. It
in
was
a mason jar.
Yeah.
It was like that was the most moonshine. It was in the nicest jar you can get. It was moonshine.
Like I'm pretty far removed from all of that geographically. So it's like, oh, that's just a thing Sturgill Simpson talks about in songs sometimes. Like, so I didn't know if that was like a real thing still.
No, it's a lifestyle.
I'm up in the mountains, you know.
Appalachia would be top. Knoxville would be second. Lexington would still have it, but definitely Appalachia and Knoxville.
Okay.
I will. Do you want me to bring some to Henny Derby? I will.
No, we already have the cans.
Well, we already have
we already have the cans of Henny. We don't need more.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Oh my god,
100%.
Kyle, you're not my mother.
All right, we're getting banned from Richmond by the end of that trip. Keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. Next game we got Loudoun FC versus NCFC. I'm taking NCFC.
Yeah.
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 All right.
And they should not tweet cup set.
No,
They should not.
They should not.
No.
Out of respect.
Let me go ahead and text. Let me go
for themselves, not for Loudoun.
All right.
Let me go ahead and tweet.
Oh,
that.
boy,
Some of the
y'all
Loudoun
move
players'
on to the
dads
next
getting
game.
arrested this week, so you can't do that.
We have Louisville versus Lexington. I got Louisville winning convincingly.
Yeah. If Louisville wins, Louisville will win. But if Lexington wins, obviously cups it, but they're not going to win.
Yeah. Louisville.
Just
Nothing
don't-
against Lexington. Louisville's just that good.
Yes.
Yeah,
At
no,
home.
no.
They're the crown. They're the crown jewel of USLC. Sorry, that sucks that you're so close.
I just want to say this. If Lexington manages to pull out this cup set, will it be the biggest upset outside of Union Omaha?
No.
I had to put that caveat in there
No.
because I just realized what
No.
Union Omaha did last year.
No.
El Paso's sucks.
No, he's talking Union Omaha's wins last year against MLS team.
Oh, I think beating an MLS team just has that much shine. It'll probably mean more. Like, I bet that gets a lot of coverage just because that is that like local Lexington, Louisville rivalry. Like, I don't even think Union Omaha beating Chicago made the paper here in town. And if they did, it was like page 7C below the fold, subsection 5, and it's because Gary took out an ad. Like, that's the only reason it made the paper. Like, no one was at the game. Like, no one, like, it didn't happen essentially. But if they beat them, I think that's such a, with the Louisville,
all those tweets that
UK,
Lexington State was going to use on Knoxville, they're just going to use on Louisville.
Yeah. But I think it'll definitely be like bigger locally. I just think beating an MLS team like for the league, you know, you won't see US Open Cup talking about it as much as like the Omaha wins, but it'll be huge for them and huge to their program. And I think that's a lot of legitimacy they'll get locally if they were able to pull up the cup set.
All right. Moving on, we got Chattanooga versus Birmingham. I have Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kaler.
All right. Tormenta versus Rio Grande Valley.
Tormenta.
Yeah. Tormenta's going to win, and it's a cup set, even though they've already beat them before, and even though they got a red card against them last year.
Not a cup set, but Tormenta wins. I mean, Tormenta beating, like, no, not
Rio.
Not them beating Rio Grande. No.
I'll take Rio. I'll take
Okay.
Rio. I'll take Rio. I got a feeling they're going to start Ihara in this, and it's not going to be good. All right. Moving on. Chip, your boys, Union Omaha versus El Paso.
Not a cup set. Omaha wins.
So,
Considering El Paso's history,
yes.
it would not be a cup set. That would just be a normal run-of-the-mill Open Cup match for El Paso.
So, I just want to make a quick joke. So Omaha's going to win, in my opinion. I've been joking. So the watch or the pregame for the game is at this like really crappy dive bar called the Happy Bar. And I've been joking about how I'm going to go in there and just like pluck $30 in the jukebox, just play El Paso by Marty Robbins on repeat. Just so people know, like that's not a joke. Like I'm doing that.
You got to get some pull tabs while you're at it.
I mean, of course.
Okay.
Pull tabs, get a Boilermaker, you know, just make an afternoon of it. But no, it'll be fun. It's going to be down at Creighton. So we'll be playing in an actual soccer field, which will be cool. El Paso has that really convincing 3-0 win over Louisville, which kind of scares me a bit. But you know they've got a bad history. I don't know if they're
not
going to be
doing well this
game.
year.
And I gotta imagine Dominic really wants to beat his former team. We had a meet and greet with Dominic and Peter Marlett, the GM. And I asked the question on if this was going to make him, to quote Rich Homie Kwan, feel some type of way. And he was very nonchalant about it. But I think it's really hard to play a team you used to coach for and not, you know, really want to come out and you just beat the absolute brakes off them.
All right. I got El Paso, but okay. Moving on, we got Switchbacks versus Delco and a repeat of last year's Open Cup game.
Both teams lose.
I got switchbacks.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. I mean, I think you never know. Like,
if Noco wins, it's not a cup set.
I'll take Noco. It is a cup set. I'll take it as a cup set.
it's still a cup set. You're still going to tweet that out.
Yeah, I'll take it as a cup set. For them, it's a cup set.
You did it last year though. Like at that point, that's just bullying.
If we're completely honest, I think the only team that just like out of a sense of pride, if they beat an upper division team, doesn't tweet cup set, is just Omaha because of like all the two MLS teams they beat last year. It's like we're gonna save that for MLS teams, at least this year. But
yeah, that's fine. Them and NCFC are the only two teams that can't tweet out cup set.
yeah,
They beat a
it's
team
like
higher up.
like if you're Omaha, it's like if you're Omaha and you play like Loudoun somehow through some dark magic. It's like, yeah, you should beat Loudoun. Like you guys should just beat them.
Yeah, should. All right, Fuego versus Monterey Bay.
Both teams lose.
There's gonna be a fist fight in the stands, not on the field.
So on this question, aren't these two teams
Yes.
pretty much from the Fresno Club that got defunct, and they're just pulled apart?
So the owner of Fresno FC literally said, "Fuck you guys, I'm moving my team," and he moved to like the rich city, like an hour and a half down the road. And then Fresno's like the team that he bought and promised them the moon and the stars, and then just like folded their club to move to Monterey Bay.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Yes, this is going to be spicy.
Both teams lose, but if Fuego wins, they can talk all the shit they want.
Oh yeah, and they should. Like they better have like in their draft saved right now, like you move the team and blew up our club just to lose, XX-XX in the Open Cup. Like that just needs to be saved in their drafts.
I like Monterey. I'll take Monterey, but I need to see how Fuego plays this weekend. No, for real.
Well, that's the biggest problem is I don't think our Fuego's gonna be very good. So,
well, this is also true. All right, Phoenix versus Greenville. I have Greenville with the upset.
Yep.
I could see either team winning, but it's not really a cup set.
Mostly because
I'll
of
go
how
Phoenix.
Phoenix played last year.
I'll say Phoenix.
I'm taking Greenville just because they don't play this weekend and they got a whole week to prepare for Phoenix. Where Phoenix, I think we said it before, they got to play Saturday night in a derby game against San Diego, then the US Open coming, and then they got to go on the road to Alabama to play Birmingham. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Not
like
a cup set
Greenville.
if Greenville wins, but I'll say Phoenix.
Yeah. All right. Is the last game? Yep. Last game. Richmond versus Cleveland Soccer Club.
Richmond should win. I'm
I'll
picking
take
Richmond.
Isn't this
If Richmond doesn't win, we gotta fight.
Yeah.
Is this dollar PBR night too?
Yep. So I'm gonna be drunk.
What?
Like we're just gonna see we're gonna see a picture of Yogi from this game, just like shirtless, like quadruple fisting PBRs.
Oh no, I'm gonna be asleep on top of the bleachers, just like this, comatose.
I remember
I'm
when
late into this game too. I've done that before.
I remember when we went to visit Richmond, and I went to buy a bucket because that's what you buy around. And so I was like, well, "So Yogi, like, what beers like do the people here like?" He's like, "PBR." And it's like, "Okay, like seriously, like which one?" He's like, "PBR." It's like, "Okay, fuck it, find PBRs."
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. PBR stands for the Public Beer of Richmond.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
Now we gotta fight.
I'm so serious, bro.
Don't steal our fucking
here in
beer.
Richmond will drink. Great, like we have a bunch of breweries. Yes,
Do not steal our fucking beer. Absolutely not.
what you mean steal your beer? That is literally the public beer of Richmond. You can find
Milwaukee
PBRs.
also can't, or like Wisconsin can't talk about our beer either because you've got PBR, you've got Miller High Life, you've got MGD.
I'm sorry.
Spotted
That's
Cow.
what we do.
I will
PBR,
say-
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I got a
That's
backstage.
fine, but it's literally the public beer of Richmond.
It is Wisconsin's beer. Fucking no, we're not fucking steal. Don't fucking steal my
It
beer.
can be
Anyway.
Wisconsin beer all day and night. That's fine.
It is not your goddamn beer.
It's the public beer of Richmond. It's the beer that
Ugh.
people here in Richmond get.
I got your
shit
fucking
faced
Henny
on.
trophy. I'm gonna keep. Now I gotta take the beer.
That's
Little
fine.
sidecar for the trophy.
Uh,
Put the two cans next to the.
It's the public
Side
beer
note
of
though,
Richmond.
through some most nefarious means, I ended up backstage at a concert on Saturday. and they had a big ass cooler of like Miller High Life. So I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm like living my dream right here. And so I went and I was like, hey, like I'm buying around. Anybody want one? And they're like, oh no, actually we're all in the dry. And I was like, oh, well, this is awkward now, but thank you. I will take this High Life.
Oh man. And
great beer though. That's the beer I would think of when I think of like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But I suppose
there's a lot of beers you can think of when you think Wisconsin. Because that's what we
fine.
do. We make beer.
But just know, like, PBRs get drunk like water here in Richmond.
Well, yeah, because it's PBR. It's great beer.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yes.
It's cheap beer. It's the only beer my wife will drink, which I find weird. It's the only beer that she will drink. She won't touch anything else. But she'll drink a PBR with.
I'll bring a High Life. I'll bring a High Life.
Hey, what?
Yeah,
We're not divorced dads.
No, it's not.
You are
champagne and beers.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great night. We not doing this bullshit. Ain't no one drinking no goddamn Miller Life.
High Life.
High Life. They're different.
Okay, Hank Hill.
There is. Bring some propane.
This has been so great. This has been so great. You're fighting over PBR. Go to bed.
This is the UConn UCF Civil War right here.
We're still live, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, I know. We tied it all together. We have Greenville, Richmond, Civil War Derby. And now we got fighting over beer, UCF, UConn Civil War. Full circle.
The civil conflict. I think that's what they call that.
Wasn't the rivalry in Oregon and Oregon State called the Civil War as well?
Everybody go to bed. Everybody go to bed.
It literally was.
You're cut off.
We're done talking about the matches. I don't know what else we.
Well, hey, it's been great joining us here on Walking 90 Night. We'll talk to you soon. Till next time, take it easy.
All right, nerds.